If your insurance rates are going up and the last time you saw a decrease was the Reagan administration, folks at Sid, an American Patriot Insurance Agency, they put the freedom of choice back in your hands with their exclusive Rate and Bind online portal. Visit AMPATINS.com or call 888-322-3565 to save an average of 25% on auto, home, renters, business, even pet insurance. Call 888-322-3565 today.
This is Sid and Friends in the morning.
For my friends.
77 WABC.
Sammy Hagar version of Van Halen right here, right now. Sammy did a good job after David Lee Roth. You know, I really believe this in my heart of hearts. And I know this makes people upset when I talk like this, but I just don't care. There is not a bigger asshole on television than Chris Cuomo. There just isn't. You know, Trump was on a roll last night in Pittsburgh. On a roll. Taking Adam Schiff to the cleaners. Calling all these Democrats scum. And right in the middle, this idiot Cuomo, who I see people every now and then, they're like, oh, he did a good job, the town hall. Shut up, I don't care. I love Bill O'Reilly. He's coming up in about 15 minutes. He's my hero. He's coming on twice this week. I really do love him. I look up to Bill O'Reilly. O'Reilly's on every week, so I try not to say too many bad things about Cuomo. But Cuomo's an idiot. He didn't do a good job at the town hall. He had good guests. He's a moron. So he breaks into Trump right in the middle, and he's like, from the category of, you can't make this up. No, what you can't make up is the fact that you're still working. That's from the category of this man is still demanding a 7-figure salary after sitting there with his brother, who was the governor of New York, making Q-tip jokes about people who were dying by the thousands of COVID. That's what you can't make up, Chris, that you're still working. Not that Donald Trump was calling out the Democrats. Anyway, Rich Lowry is the editor of the National Review.
Have a good time, Rich.
Yeah, he's a great guest. Politico, NBC, big Yankee fan. And as far as I know, not a big fan of Chris Cuomo, but who knows? Or are you, Rich?
That was one of those painful things on cable TV, the handover between Chris Cuomo and Don Lemon during the pandemic when they thought they were the hottest thing going, and they're so clever. And there's I love you, Don. I love you, Chris. And they ended up both getting defenestrated, so there was some justice. But, oh, man. Remember that? It was like
no, of course I remember
cool
it.
And hot.
It was disgusting. It was gross, you know, and Hayes does the same thing with Maddow at MSNBC, but, you know, Cuomo's got the connections, and for what it's worth, he's a good-looking guy. I'll give him that. So he keeps getting jobs. You know, News Nation, I don't know what that is, but fine. But, you know, every now and then I'm forced to play a clip or forced to watch him outside of my friend Bill O'Reilly, and he's awful. The guy's awful. Or am I missing something, Rich?
Spreading on X have been him sort of saying things understanding of the Trump phenomenon, or sort of explaining why this is happening and why people don't get it. But I do not. I'm not familiar with his full body of work.
His full body of work. Good luck with that. He gets fired every couple of years from some other place. And by the way, I'm the one saying that. I shouldn't really talk. So the Trump thing is funny because, and you know this, Rich, you and I have had this discussion before. I grew really tired of people telling me Trump needs to be nicer. Trump needs to play nice, blah, blah, blah. You know, I got crazy with that. I go, no, that's not Trump. The reason why he's won 3 consecutive primaries, the reason why he's running for president today, if you think it's all about policy, you're somewhere between naive and stupid and closer to the latter. People love when Trump goes nuts. They love it. So you get these like 4 or 5 people who are smart or independent, and they go, no, he's got to be nice, got to be nice. I got to tell you, they were vicious. They were vicious to Trump the last couple of months, right? Nazi, rapist, all these things. The worst thing he said was she's stupid, or she's Indian, not black. I thought, for the most part, for the folks that actually bitched and complained about that, which, again, I think is really overrated, I thought he did pretty good. What about you?
Well, the last week and a half here has just been an effort by the media to make anything he says into, like, the worst gaffe we've ever heard. I think maybe the best example of this, he says, I want to protect women from migrant gangs and foreign threats. And they said his campaign says you shouldn't use that word protect, but he says I'm going to say it whether women like it or not. And this is like shows he's a sexual predator that he says that. It's crazy. It reminded me of the binders full of women thing that Mitt Romney said in 2012 that they made some sort of scandal. He said like he had a lot of women candidates for jobs in his administration, and that was made into supposedly a sexist smear. So. I would have liked it to have been a little more buttoned up, but, that's not the way he plays. He likes to entertain the crowd. He likes to entertain himself. But the thing is, the press is so bad. I mean, it's the worst it's ever been.
But it doesn't matter because, like you just said, they're going to find something. They'll take my speech. They're still writing about my speech. Who the hell am I? I don't work for Trump. I'm not a surrogate. I don't work for the campaign. I'm a dopey radio host from New York. They're still writing about me, Rich, 10 times a day, attaching me to Trump. These are Trump's friends. They'll find something. It doesn't matter. But Donald Trump of 10 years ago is the same guy today. Say what you want. There's something to be said for consistency. Changed. No?
Nothing's changed. This is why I was very skeptical, for about 48 hours after the first assassination attempt, like he's the new Trump. I'm like, no, he's not. He's not going to be a new. Stop it. Not going to be a new Trump.
By the way, he was because I was in Milwaukee. Okay, and I was in that convention center that Monday night. He had walked in with the big white, wrapping on his ear. He was shot 48 hours earlier. I'll be honest. He looked old. He looked tired. He looked. I'm not going to say scared. But he looked different, and I also thought for a second, yes,
it was a traumatic event. Yeah,
but he didn't change.
Yeah, but within like 20 minutes of that acceptance speech, he was talking about whether the Packers are going to win the NFC. What are they in the Central or
yes.
Dana White? And his vacation. So he's irrepressible. The outcome matters a lot, obviously, but just the mere fact that he's on the cusp of the presidency after all that's happened and all he's gone through is an extraordinary personal and political achievement.
You think he wins?
After all years, Sid, I'm the least certain right now that
wow,
because
every single week you've said yes with no hesitation.
I know, so I still say yes. My prediction, I did my prediction on our podcast at National Review yesterday. I say 287 for Trump. He wins North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. I'm kind of a little uncertain about Nevada now, and Pennsylvania to get to 287. He doesn't need Nevada if he gets Pennsylvania, but I don't know. He doesn't need Arizona actually if he gets Pennsylvania,
right.
Georgia, and North Carolina. That's
right.
That puts him over the top. But if there's a polling error in his favor, the way there was in 16 and 20, it's a wipeout. When he wins every swing state. If for some reason all the pollsters have been over-adjusting or missing something, or Kamala's turnout operation is great and she overperforms by a point, it could be the opposite. So yeah. I really don't know. I'm as nervous as I've ever been.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm so uncomfortable today. Even doing this show is not. It's not. And I do this. My eyes closed. I love it. It's easy. But today that's not the case. So my crazy Trump friends. If he loses, it was rigged. There's no way Donald Trump, there's no way in a million years Donald Trump can lose this election unless it's rigged again. Your thoughts?
No, look, I mean, the things he'll point to, he's not going to accept it if he loses, are the switcheroo, the cover-up of Biden, the switcheroo, the media coverage, and all that's legit. But once you get to, like, honest-to-God mass voter fraud, I just don't think, there's voter fraud, but enough to, swing a national election that's held in different states with different rules and different people. I don't believe it.
Well, but he has brought it up a couple of times this week, including his last rally stop in Pennsylvania last night, that, he finds it that on election day you walk in with a piece of paper, which is a lot cheaper, but it's much more accurate. He goes, what are these machines doing? So he already last night was kind of setting it up just in case we do lose that. Maybe there is some shenanigans going on.
Yeah, better to win.
Nice and easy. So if Trump wins, or when Trump wins, he wins why?
He wins because people hate the status quo. You have an unpopular president, and she was a nullity, and it couldn't close the sale. And he made the case that and people believe that the first 3 years of his administration, everyone kind of now makes an exception for COVID, as they should, were much better than what we've experienced the last 4 years. He wins with that. If she wins, it's abortion, it's suburban women and not being able to stand Trump, and just a tsunami. They're counting on suburban women just overcoming whatever deficits we see now. Urban turnout seems low. They think suburban women are going to overcome that. They might be right. I have no way of knowing, but we'll know more tonight, or at least the next couple of days.
What party needs to win this election more?
Oh, man, that's a great question.
Thank you.
That's a great question. I don't. Which party needs to win it more?
See, I think it's the Republicans, because you just had, honestly, let's come on. I know you hate Trump, not you, but other people. This was the most embarrassing, inept administration ever. This guy Biden is still president. He speaks on TV.
Win after all that,
right? And they're still going to win. So to me, that tells you that nobody wants Republicans anymore, even after the worst administration ever.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. If she loses, it'll be just like Biden. Biden, when he showed up at the debate, instantly everyone was like, oh, yeah, he's senile, right? The thing they denied, right? And if she loses, it'll be instantly, she's totally unimpressive and wasn't any good at this and is totally inadequate. It needs to go away, right? So it's just like with Biden. There's been this veneer and this facade that they've all played around with, and if she loses, that'll just totally crash to the ground, and she'll never be heard from again.
Well, if he wins, for what it's worth, Lowry, Kalari Greek Tavern on me. Now Danielle loves that place, too. It was great. Hey, thank you for hopping on today, and I'll text you later, okay? All right, buddy.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
There he is, the editor of the National Review. Great weekly guest on Sid and Friends in the Morning, my man, Rich Lowry.